In a bustling kingdom nestled between mountains and rivers, the people prided themselves on their industrious nature. From dawn till dusk, the clang of hammers and the rustle of wheat echoed through the land. Among these hard workers lived a humble young man from a village known for its blacksmiths and laborers. Unlike others who prided themselves on sheer effort, he was quiet, observant, and curious about the world beyond the anvil and plow. Every morning, he watched his neighbors toil relentlessly. The farmers bent over their fields from sunrise to sunset. The smiths forged tools tirelessly, their faces always streaked with soot and sweat. Even children helped carry water and wood, learning early that labor was the backbone of life. Yet, despite their devotion, prosperity was uneven. Some aged before their time. Others struggled to rise beyond daily survival. The young man questioned why hard work alone didn't always yield a better life. He worked too, of course. But while hammering horseshoes or plowing fields, he would often pause to observe his surroundings. He studied how seeds grew in shade versus sunlight. He noticed how different woods burned hotter or slower. He even listened to the village elders, who shared ancient tales and riddles passed down through generations. What others dismissed as idle curiosity, he treated as pieces of a larger puzzle. One day, news spread of a royal challenge. The king, troubled by the slow construction of his new granary, declared a contest. To all my subjects, the royal decree read, present a way to fill 100 granaries in less time and with fewer workers. The winner shall receive gold, land, and a place among my advisors. The kingdom buzzed with excitement. Hundreds of people, architects, laborers, merchants, flocked to the capital. Most proposed using more workers or longer hours. Double the men, double the output, they claimed. Others suggested moving work to the night with torches. None thought beyond the brute force of manpower. The young man, intrigued, decided to join. He arrived at the palace not with an army of laborers, but with a cart filled with strange tools and rolled-up parchment. The king, amused by his simple appearance, asked him what solution he brought. "I bring a different way to work," he replied calmly. "Not harder, but smarter." The crowd laughed. The nobles scoffed. But the king, wise and curious, gestured for him to continue. He unrolled his parchment and revealed a design for a pulley and conveyor system. Instead of lifting every sack of grain by hand, he explained, this system uses gravity and wheelwork to transport loads from carts into the granary. A single man can do the work of 10. Then, he presented a schedule. Instead of working all day without pause, rotate teams in shorter shifts. Fatigue leads to mistakes and delays. Rested workers are faster and more precise. Finally, he pointed to a ledger showing data he had gathered from his village. I kept records, how long tasks took, when people tired, what tools helped. Working without thought is like sailing without a compass. The king, intrigued, ordered a trial. One granary would be filled by the young man's system, another by traditional methods. Within 2 days, the smart system filled its granary. The other team, despite laboring day and night, had not reached halfway. The court was astonished. The laborers looked at each other in disbelief. The king, smiling, honored his promise. He rewarded the young man with wealth, but more importantly, he named him Royal Advisor of Innovations. The young man used his position not for personal gain, but to teach others. He traveled the kingdom, introducing methods that combined knowledge with effort, plows that cut deeper with less force, irrigation systems that watered 10 fields at once, workshops that used wind or river power. Slowly, the kingdom transformed. Villages that once struggled began to thrive. Farmers who had broken their backs found new ease in their work. Children went to school instead of hauling buckets. And gradually, the people began to understand, labor was noble. But labor guided by wisdom was divine. Years passed, and the young man grew older. But his legacy endured. Statues were not built in his honor, for he had never sought fame. Instead, his ideas lived in the tools people used and the rhythms of their daily lives. Fields bore richer harvests. Roads carried more trade. Time, once consumed by toil, was now shared with family, art, and rest. He had changed the kingdom not by lifting the heaviest stones, but by lifting the veil of tradition that said harder is better. He proved that the mind is the sharpest tool, and that working smart is not laziness, but the purest form of efficiency and respect, for time, for effort, and for life itself. Moral: hard work builds strength, but smart work builds progress. When wisdom guides effort, even the impossible becomes achievable.